Hi guys, welcome back to another overthrow disc golf video. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the first of our playlist that's going to be pro form reviews. And I'm gonna try to take this and relate this to the drills and stuff that we have. So a lot of you will probably be seeing this in the start here playlist before you move on to the box drill. So the first video that we're going to look at, we're only going to look at Drew's right arm. If you don't know yet, I teach the right arm first because it's the last, line of defense right before the disc comes out. That's where we translate all the energy into the disc. So, if your footwork's perfect, but your right arm's garbage, the disc is not going anywhere. You could have everything else right and the right arm wrong, and the disc, won't go 250, let alone further. So we're gonna take a look at the right arm. I recommend working on that first, and I'm gonna show you the things that will give you a good visualization for what the right arm actually does, so that when you go into the drills, you can understand better where we're coming from. We have a drill called the box drill, and it teaches you not to pull the disc in a straight line, but instead to learn how to swing your hand and your disc in and out of your chest. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. We'll start with the not a straight line pull. We've got the back view from Drew here, and we're gonna go through. And so I'll take us up to this point here. And here's where his arm fully extends at this point here. Now watch as the disc, travels in this way, right? It's not going to be a straight pull here. Goes boom, in towards his chest. And then from here, we're gonna see it go out this way. So here, boom, very clear. And then we've got, you can see that it's already coming out of his fingers here. And then from here, it's gonna continue to go right. So if we look at the whole movement again, go back, just looking at the general, you've got a couple arcs in here, right? So it goes in and out. And again, we'll look at that from the top view. So here we go, here. And this is a really good picture of what we talk about with, there is no reach back, the disc staying in place. Check out this disc here. As he extends this front leg, he leaves the disc here, and then he lets his shoulders rotate and extend back. And that's what, keeps the disc here, or gets the disc into that extended position. So that's just a little tidbit right there, right? And now his left arm's moving, but his disc isn't being punched backwards at all. It's not going this way, right? It's just his arm is extending. Now, let's watch the line here. From this, what we're gonna see is we're gonna see the disc come into his chest and then out of his chest, and then it's gonna do this little swirly thing at the end there, right? So here we go. Let me zoom in just a little bit. Into the chest, and then here it comes out of the chest, this way, right? So there's a lot of movement, and I try to tell people in lessons that it really feels like you're going out, straight away from the chest. And guys generally, not just guys, people generally want to let this disc travel across the chest and pull it across the chest instead of letting it swing into the chest and then out of the chest. So it's just this motion right here. Very, very, very important. I think that's ground zero for learning good form, right? And the drill that we have for that is the box drill. And I'm gonna show you the box drill. If you are in the start here playlist, then the box drill is going to be the video immediately following this. So, but I'll show you here, and then you can move on to the drill after this. So here's his backswing, his extension. Oops, sorry. Where he's got here and here, right? Shoulders and this right here, this angle between your, shoulder and your elbow, create this. And it's gonna stay in this 90-degree box here. So, this angle right here is about 90. Boop. Right, and it's gonna stay there for the throw. So Drew's might be a touch more open than 90, but we're roughly 90, right? And then here we go into what people have called the power pocket. And we can see again here, and then here, we're in that same roughly 90-degree box, all right? Drew's a touch more open than 90. Of course, that's okay, because it's Drew Gibson, right? And so we've got this box, and then from here, notice how the arm's gonna straighten out here. He's still got this roughly 90-degree here as he rotates through with the body, right? His is a touch more open, probably a little closer to 100, but then he goes boom, and now here's the extension. Again, he's got his box, roughly 90. For him, it's about 100. Now, Josh, should it be actually 90 or should it be 100? I don't know yet. We got to get more pro footage. It's going to be roughly 90. I say when you're throwing, 600, it's okay for Drew probably to do it. Maybe there's something about the length. I know that Drew, I think he has an ape index, right? So his arm's a little bit longer. I don't know how all that plays into it, but it's around 90. So do the box drill. And then later when you're really good, you can feel what the better option is. There's a range of acceptability here as well. It doesn't have to be exactly 90. But yeah, and that's the box drill. So you're unboxed here, boxed here, and then unboxed. The only difference is in the box drill, we have this left arm extended the whole time. So that's the box drill, that's the moving in and out. The other thing that I want to show you with the box drill and with the right arm movement from the behind view is it's really important to have the space away from the body with the elbow as well. Right? A lot of times I see people and they want to have their elbow, down here, tucked against their body like this. How do you want me to show this, Mikey? So a lot of people, they worry about, this 90-degree angle. And I'm not going to say from here to here is also 90-degree for people, because obviously if you look at Drew here, it's not 90-degree. But the important thing is that the elbow is away from the body enough to create space for the disc to travel into. Notice that Drew's hand is here and his disc is on the inside between his body and his hand. It's a disc sandwich, if you want to say that, right? A lot of people, they'll have their elbow too tight to their body here, which means that as you go to rotate and try to do this properly, you can't. You have to pull to get the disc across because there's no room here. If I show from the back view, there's no room here for the disc to pocket into the body, right? We want the disc to be able to move from out to in towards the body. But if your elbow's too tight to your body when you do the box drill, you're gonna have a really hard time doing that. Because when you come here, even if you rotate into here, uncoil the upper body into here, the disc can't go here because your body's in the way, right? So we wanna make sure that there's adequate space away from the body for the disc to come in and pocket like this. Even with a lower swing, like somebody like Eagle, they do a really good job of getting over the disc. I'm just gonna stand up and show this. So even with guys that have their arm a little bit lower, when they do their forward swing, they create a pocket here. The pocket doesn't always have to be up at the chest. There's kind of a range of acceptability there. But again, the important thing is no matter where your forward swing brings the disc through, there's gotta be space for the wrist and the disc to break inward, because again, we're gonna go out after this. So there needs to be an inward break so we can send it out and get the spin that we want. So really important to get that elbow up and away from the body as well, and find out what's kind of comfortable there as well. Obviously, if you go too low and you bring your elbow too far down, it gets way tight to your body, so that doesn't work. And then the last thing I'm gonna look at on his right arm move is from the side view here. And this is absolutely an advanced thing in my mind. So, but we're gonna look at his extension here. Notice at this point, oh yeah, here we go. Frame it up good for you. Right, so notice at this point, we talk about in videos about once this left leg is planted, the disc is staying over the left leg, and it looks like it's going backwards because the shoulders are coiling back. And so it looks like we're pushing the disc back, but we're not. We're really just coiling the shoulders backwards. And you can see this here with Drew, of course. And now this arm is getting extended, and it has just a little bit of a backwards move, not much, because he's doing the left arm drive. Now again, if you are a beginner and you're building your form, I don't want you to worry about the left arm drive. I don't even want you to worry about this part right here, but I'm showing you because you might have a question and might feel and see some pros do this and say, he didn't tell me to do that, but I see them do that, so I want to do that, which this is not the time to put this step in there. The reason that this arm is straightening out right here, notice he's bent here. His arm is bent until this left arm is swinging down, right? The left arm move and him keeping the right arm loose stretches out this right arm this way and gives him just that extra little bit of extension. You see Ezra do this, Eagle do this, and of course Drew does this. Not all pros do this, but it's just that extra little bit of extension, and it happens when you time this left arm move really, really well and when you're really, really loose. But again, you're not looking at the left arm right now, so don't worry about this now. Trust that this is going to be later on in the process, like significantly later probably if you add this move, I think. So that's all I wanted to say there, is this full extension. Other than that, there are plenty of guys who have a bent right arm back here who don't have that extra little flare that throw really far. First person that comes to mind, of course, is Seppo Payu. Guy bombs and he's got a bent arm on his extension back here. And then the last thing I'll say is that this extension relative to his body, notice his right hip is over here. It's kind of pointing this way. And his extension happens over here. So this is where we're talking about that, sorry, probably better from a top view. Let me try that again. And then, so then the last thing that I'm gonna say on the right arm is that notice that the disc is coming out here and his hips are pointing here. So if this were a clock face, this would be, so he's releasing at roughly, if this were a clock face and this were 12 o'clock, he's releasing roughly around 10 or 11 o'clock, right? Somewhere in that range is what you see with pros. So really learning to let that arm unfold like this at that 10 o'clock position. Most people rotate a little too far and they lose a little bit of energy because their legs and everything, the timing gets off. Everything else is kind of fired and then their arm has already missed the wave. All right, so that is an in-depth look at the right arm movement. Again, if you're a beginner, I would start on the box drill and I would just do the box drill till you cannot mess it up and then move on to the next series of videos, which is going to be talking about the left arm and the left arm drills. But I hope that this was helpful to give you a visualization of what's happening and why I'm teaching the things that I'm teaching. One warning, don't get too nerdy with it and don't try to be super precise. There is, after you get the initial steps, you want to make sure that this thing is smooth and it gets into your feel as quickly as possible from the mechanical. You need the mechanical first, but make sure that you don't just intellectualize the whole thing and get your body's pretty smart. So let it handle a lot of the workload for you. That's it. So we will see you in the next video. Peace out.